Today we're going to start with pretty much my stock drilling with any of these balls, so it'll be very similar to what you've seen before in the reviews. Standard almost 5.5 inch pin by 5.5 with where the mass bias would be if a symmetrical ball had one, by 2.5 in the SLS system. And let's get going. Here at AMF Louisville we have a brand new SPL, 1 month old, and so there's a little friction in the front, and still adjusting the house pattern a touch. So, low RG symmetrical cores have traditionally been my favorite. This is the second version of the TNT. The first one, I don't know that it went that well. It was much earlier ball, much smoother ball, kind of meant to be in the axiom range. I don't know that it was a fan favorite so much. This one, obviously hybrid, so it's got some pearl, it's got reactor gloss finish. Still got that smooth predictability of that low RG big symmetrical core. Get a little bit of polish, but man, this cover feels like it's still pretty strong. So even for a pearl ball, I'm not sure I would get too confused already with what we got there. If we get our ball back, we're going to go ahead and move right. Throw a little straighter. We're going to move, I don't know, 8 or 10 right here. Kind of take our hand out of it. Super clean through the front. Smooth and predictable off of a down lane. This looks like it might be a pretty decent ball in the house shots and where you have a little wet dry. Looks like it blends that out a little bit. If you have some early hook, you're on an older surface, that polish will get through the front of the lane. The core and cover after that might be okay behind it. This is starting to give me a little bit of the shiny Nova vibes a little bit. We're gonna go slow now. Smooth and predictable. I don't think you're going to confuse this for a Zen Gold label, which, you know what, we have one right here. So let's just give a look. I'll throw that one from we'll just throw it from the same spot. Way longer. Way more around it. So that gives you an early idea of where this ball fits. Then just rotate this TNT, and I would expect this to look pretty good. If you're a higher rotation player, it's going to be something that sees the lane like you want it to. Now you take that smooth predictability and give it a little angle, and you're doing it with your hand instead. So this ball is going to be good for places when the front hooks a little bit. You have some wet dry on those house shots like that. I think this is going to be really good on something like that. Way more usable than the original TNT, I believe. Let's go back over here and play straight, but I'm going to add a little rotation. Not enough rev rate, a little too much rotation. So, I ruined my 300 game. That's all right. I'd rather you guys see what's going on than just bowl a big game. So, back to where we started a little bit, kind of staying at 25, looking at 13. Very predictable. Looks pretty good, right? Well, if you're going to put it up against something, why not put it up against one of the best ones of all time? Phase 2. Let's see what it looks like. Same spot, 25. A little earlier, a little stronger overall. I'd say this cover, if I was to guess that, the TNT infused cover is probably stronger overall. And so if you took the polish off of it, it's probably actually going to be a little stronger than a phase 2. And so what it reminds me of a little bit, cover-wise, is a duo. So this one's still a little bit weaker, but this shiny duo cover is really strong. And well, we'll throw it from the same spot even though it's drilled a little weaker. So it doesn't flare as much as a TNT infused, so it's going to be a little less than that, but overall that's kind of where it fits. This is a shiny, strong cover. It's going to be pretty smooth, pretty predictable. I think it's going to be great off that wet dry. So winning my vote for most improved 2.0 version of the year. And then we'll max out over here. Well, I mean, not max out, but we'll get slowing around it. Well, and there you go, 279. So, where this one's going to fit, though, for you, it's going to be earlier than a Zen Gold for sure. Smoother than a Zen, smoother and a little less than a Phase 2. Now, if you want it to be above a Phase 2, take the polish off this, it becomes earlier than a Phase 2. It's going to give you that same smooth predictability, probably not as much angle as a Phase 2. But certainly a ball that looks pretty good to me, and certainly my vote for most improved version 2 ball of the year. Come back to Beef and Barnzy channel to see more Real Talk reviews like this TNT infused.